Welcome. You're watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. A political overthrowing of the Karnataka government that started nearly a month ago has now reached its logical conclusion today. The JDS Congress government in the state has fallen with H.D. Kumaraswamy government failing at the floor test in the House. The government lost the trust vote with 99 MLAs voting for him to stay while 105 voted against. The BJP is now poised to form the next government in the state of Karnataka, and it's possible that B.S. Yediyurappa could be the chief minister once again. It would be for the fourth time. Remember, he was chief minister a year ago for 2 days when he had to resign because he didn't have the numbers after the Karnataka Assembly elections. Well, he's had his revenge today. But the Karnataka story is even bigger than that. What does it now mean for the state? Will we see more governance? What happens next in this political drama? What happens to the rebel MLAs who quit? They will now most likely be disqualified. So where does their political future go? Will this new government be stable? Because it also has a wafer-thin majority. And what does it mean for the Congress that has now lost power in a crucial state? They now have power in 4 states and 1 union territory of Puducherry. I'm beginning this evening by speaking with Mr. K.R. Ramesh Kumar. Mr. Kumar, thank you for speaking with us here on the India Development Debate. Take us through the journey of the last 1 month, in the course of which your role as Speaker has come in for sharp criticism. Do you think you did your duty as per the Constitution? Why such a long delay in the trust vote, which we finally saw today?
I have done my job. Hello?
Yes, sir. We're listening to you.
I have gone by the rule book. I have done my job.
You have been criticized for delaying it, and the eventuality is what we saw today. Could this not have happened earlier? There were missives to the Supreme Court. There is a case pending saying that you would not accept the resignations. Tell us what has happened with the resignations and why that entire drama took place.
Go about it on 18th. We took it up for discussions on 19th and yesterday. Today, 3 days. 3 days is a delay, is it, to decide the fate of a government? I should have done it immediately after that, 5 minutes after the motion was moved. What do people talk? Do they have any sense of responsibility? Yeah, please tell.
Sir, I understand your point. I understand your point, but the entire allegation was that there were excuses being made. That first you said come in person, then you said the format was different, then you said I need time to accept the resignations. Now will these people resign or be disqualified?
19th. People can't talk like that. Hello?
Yes, sir. I just want to understand what happens next with these MLAs.
That is a matter before me in my capacity as judge. It's a quasi-judicial matter. I can't be answering over phone. The advocates on both the sides have appeared today and they have made their submissions. Till this evening, I was locked up with the assembly. I'll take 1 or 2 days' time, go through all the papers and take a decision.
Mr. Kumar, can you explain to our viewers what happens if these MLAs are disqualified?
I don't know. How can I answer questions hypothetically? See, I will go through all the submissions made by both the sides. I'll look to the law book, look to the position of the Constitution, and then take a decision.
What has been your reading of the situation so far? And of course, you are a politician as well. Currently, of course, you are Speaker, so you're in a constitutional position. But if I were to ask you to wear your hat as a political analyst, do you think it has shown the JDS Congress government in very poor light that they hung on to power for so long after they knew they had lost the numbers, which was proven this evening?
Going by the agenda. I've done my job.
What about the role of the governor in this entire situation? The governor had sent you a missive a couple of days ago asking you to hold the trust vote at the earliest. Do you think that this could have been done a few days ago?
I am not aggrieved with the governor on any ground. It is for the aggrieved parties, if any, to comment about it. He is at another constitutional function like what I am. It would be unfair for me to comment about it.
Kumar, let me come to the point. Through this entire
Yeah.
drama, I think the biggest, um, or the saddest point of it is the people of India have questioned constitutional figures like yourself and the governor, and whether their politics has influenced their decisions. What would you like to say on this? There is, it's a very honest question I'm asking you, sir.
The
And for people who are watching
of
today.
values in a system, in a society, doesn't happen at a stroke. It has happened continuously. We are opening our eyes now.
No, do
All
you,
the unfortunate things have been happening.
No, that is true, sir. But in this current situation, there has been a perception that you, as the speaker, have been trying to delay this trust vote, which the Congress and the JDS did not want. They finally, managed to make it happen today. In fact, this evening you said that if the trust vote does not take place, you would resign. At the end of it, did you yourself feel that this fast that we were seeing from the last few weeks had to end?
And on 18th, a point of order was raised in view of the Supreme Court order. Virtually, there is no discussion on the motion. We have had discussions only on 19th. Then we have Saturday and Sunday. We have discussed it yesterday. Today we have finalized it. 3 days is a big delay, eh? Do you have any idea as to how long these matters have been discussed in different assemblies and parliament? What is the meaning in asking delay, delay, delay? Where is the delay?
Do you think there are grounds for disqualification of these rebel MLAs, or should their resignation have been accepted earlier?
I can't be answering to you hypothetically. Submissions are made by the legal representatives of both the sides, petitioners as well as respondents. I have to take a decision.
Just one more question to you, sir. And of course, as the speaker, as a citizen of the state of Karnataka, and as a tall political leader, what do you hope to see now from whoever forms the next government and whoever becomes the next chief minister? Because the question of governance of the state has been raised. The people's problems have been, put on the back burner in the middle of what looks like a power grab to the rest of the country.
Our constitution has assigned certain duties to be performed by each one of the functionaries of the constitution. The office of speaker is a very conservative office. As long as I sit in that office, I'll not be having freedom to answer your question. I'll have to, even if I have my own views, I'll have to, swallow them. It is very difficult to answer these questions.
I understand. Thank you so much, K.R. Ramesh Kumar. Of course, he's still currently the speaker, but this is a fluid situation. We need to understand what will happen next. And he was speaking with us. He's the one who, oversaw that trust vote in which the Congress and the JDS government has fallen. Tejas Mehta, political commentator, and Chandan Gowda are joining us now on the show. Tejas, you and I have spoken a couple of times in the last few weeks on the situation. This is the inevitability that we thought would happen sooner than later. The question is now, what happens next?
I think the BJP is going to go ahead and form the government. That's the buzz currently. I mean, before the trust vote really took place, the murmurs were that they would consider, their position once again, whether they can, not only, of course, they'll be able to form the government, but can they, ensure that the next 46 months that the 15th, Karnataka Assembly is into existence, can they last that long or not? Because that is the biggest question before any government, and that is the longevity and the stability of a government. So I think that is the key issue before them. But the murmurs we are hearing in Karnataka and in Bengaluru especially is that Yediyurappa is absolutely all set to become the next chief minister. They would be claiming stake tomorrow itself. That's the buzz. And of course, the big question before the BJP would be that one, that he has crossed the 76-year-old mark, 75-year-old mark. He's 76 now. And the second is that they would take a longer and larger view on the leadership in Karnataka, because this is the gateway to the south of India for them. And do they want to continue with Yediyurappa, or would they want somebody younger? probably, that is the big question before the BJP. But at this point of time, given the fact that this has happened at a time when Yediyurappa had contested and led the entire BJP, campaign in 2018, and the BJP did emerge as the biggest party at that point of time. He became chief minister, but he could not prove his majority. The BJP would probably give him another chance to, head the current new government, which will be formed in the next couple of days. So the fears of president's rule will not really. I don't think it's going to become a reality. The BJP is going for the kill, as one would say, and
Yeah.
having this opportunity to form the next government.
When we were speaking about this earlier in the day as well, the two central figures, political figures of this entire drama have been B.S. Yediyurappa on one end and D.K. Shivakumar on the other. And Chandan Gowda, let me come to you about B.S. Yediyurappa, because almost a year ago, on the 19th of May really, this gentleman stood in that same assembly and he had to resign. He was chief minister for 48 hours. He had to resign because he didn't have the numbers. He also seems to be the driving force behind all the Operation Kamalas which were mounted in the last year. This is the one which worked. So is the central BJP leadership really going to be able to put someone else in the driver's seat at this point? This is B.S. Yediyurappa's political victory today, isn't it?
It absolutely is, in the sense that he took, in the last few attempts to bring down the coalition, he was the face of that operation, as you put it. So he's been very determined to pull it down, and he was even caught on tape offering bribe money, and he openly admitted to it. So he has stuck his neck out in the sense of, I absolutely want to be the next chief minister, and it looks like the party has been behind him. But that said, if the party decides to suddenly become technical about the 75 years qualification requirement, etc., that could be a surprise. And they may simply shrug their shoulders to say, this is what we've done with everyone else, we can't make an exception. So there's a small element of that thing happening. It remains to be seen if they will actually insist on that, because it will be a precedent of sorts that they do not want to create. So there is a slight uncertainty about that, but we'll see what happens.
True, Alok Prasanna Kumar, on the we'll see what happens question. Mr. Kumar, so what happens next? JDS Congress have lost the trust vote. 105 were against it. The BJP has 105. Technically, with these rebel MLAs resigning, that is the halfway mark. Are they setting smoothly to form the next government? What's the next process?
So the next process, I think, has been sort of mentioned, which is that B.S. Yediyurappa will probably take claim before the governor to say that he enjoys the support of the House. Now, two things are at the moment up in the air, and we don't know what will happen. One is, will Mr. Ramesh Kumar continue as speaker? I don't think so. I do believe that the BJP will try to elect its own speaker. This is crucial because then the question comes as to what happens to the MLAs who have now disappeared. When they come back, will they vote in favor of the BJP or whoever is the new CM who wants to prove his innocence? Obviously, they might. But given that it's very obviously crossing over to the other party, question is what will happen to the disqualification petition? Suppose, for instance, the Congress moves the disqualification petition and the next speaker says, I simply won't decide. I mean, this has worked very successfully for both Chandan Naidu and KCR in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So the government may be reliant, the government will be upheld by the fact that the threat of disqualification will hang over these 15-20 MLAs, whoever have decided to quote-unquote defect. Because legally they have defected, it's just that the institutions have decided not to take a decision. Keep in mind that the question of whether the speaker can be compelled to take a decision to disqualify MLAs is pending in the Supreme Court. It's sort of pending in the Supreme Court, but no decision seems to be coming in that respect. So I think we can assume that if the speaker is sort of elected by the BJP, they'll probably follow the Telangana model to ignore the 10th schedule of the Constitution and allow the MLAs to join the BJP as and when they choose.
Okay, that's a very important point because, we spoke to K.R. Ramesh Kumar just a few minutes ago and he was very tight-lipped about what he will do next. But as Alok Prasanna Kumar points out, whether he will remain speaker or not is the other big question. Chandan Gowda, you want to come in on that? because those are the nitty-gritties of what we'll see next. That constitutional position will decide what happens to these rebel MLAs, and may also pave the way for B.S. Yediyurappa to form the next government. Of course, Governor Vajubhai Vala will also have a big role to play.
If I were to make a guess, I would think they will change the speaker because they will not want to take any chances. Although they have been trying to say that the speaker has been neutral all along, they respect him, etc., all these days, I think they will not want to take a chance because it's really about someone having to be constitutional. I don't think Ramesh Kumar would do something out of the way to prevent them from coming to power. But if another speaker can help the MLAs join the BJP without being disqualified, which means they can then be given cabinet berths, etc., while they wait to get elected within the next 6 months, I think they would do that. Again, remains to be seen. The moves will be evident from tomorrow. We'll also have to see how the 15 MLAs who are in Bombay will react now. Some of them may choose to not switch over. It's unclear.
Yeah. I just want to play out a comment from, another former Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah, who spoke a little after that trust vote, and he commented on these rebel MLAs who have been pivotal to the downfall of this government. Let's just listen in.
Some 15 or 16 MLAs, they violated the whip by abstaining, not attending the proceedings of the House and participate in the vote of confidence motion when it was put to vote. Thereby, 10th schedule, the provisions of the 10th schedule of the Constitution is applicable, and they are liable to be disqualified.
Okay, so very simply put, if they're disqualified, they cannot join the BJP and cannot enjoy the fruits of their rebellion, quote unquote, if that is how it has all gone down, and it seems likely it has. If their resignation is accepted, then they can join the BJP. The next government, which is a BJP government, in all likelihood becomes a more stable government. So it's very important what happens to these rebel MLAs. It's a big part of the story. Tejas Mehta brings me to my next question. How stable is the next government going to be? Because you have these bunch of 15, 16 identified elected representatives who seem happy to move whichever way the political winds are blowing. We've seen it happening in Karnataka again and again. B.S. Yediyurappa has been on the receiving end of this. Are we seeing the end of this political turmoil in the state?
I would really think so, given that the whole entire situation actually precipitated after the national elections when the BJP won 26 or 28 seats. It was after that things were supposed to get actually would be much more clearer whether the depending on the results, and once the results were out, once the fact that in the JDS territory of Mandya and Hassan and even the Deve Gowda lost his own seat, it became absolutely clear that the infighting within the government itself between the Congress and the JDS had reached to proportions where they could not see eye to eye anymore. I mean, Siddaramaiah may of course be speaking today of the fact that these MLAs have to be disqualified, but many of them are supposed to be his proteges, and therefore the lurking suspicion has always remained in the JDS that Siddaramaiah also has played a huge part in the collapse of this government. In fact, Kumaraswamy, to quote him, he has said that he has been backstabbed by his friends itself. So, I mean, it's not as simple as to why this has really happened. There are multiple factors. But yes, I would think the stability at the center will now provide some stability in the state because these MLAs now they'll have nowhere to go. They're not going to go back to the Congress at this point of time. And yes, they can join the BJP, but if they are disqualified, they will not be made ministers. So uh, they have taken a huge gamble. But if they are disqualified, it will go back to the Supreme Court, like we have seen in many other states, especially in Tamil Nadu. And it could happen that the Supreme Court will accept the resignations. In that case, they can become ministers, and then all is well here. But I do agree that a stable government is absolutely important, and therefore, the crucial aspect remains the numbers. And with this wafer thins margin, as we have seen so many times in Goa also, where the governments keep changing, chief ministers keep changing, the round robin almost taking place. That should certainly end here. And but I don't think the government. I don't think the BJP wants to have fresh elections in that sense. They are willing to try out a new formation and try their luck as to whether they can bring in some stability. I would think they would manage, given the fact that the Narendra Modi government is extremely stable and strong.
Yeah, so it's the Karnataka politics is also the tale of the several, wannabe chief ministers and how their individual pushes and pulls have impacted this state. Alok, just a couple of things I want to get your points on. We've of course discussed what happens to these MLAs and how that will impact the next government. But on the stability of the government, do you see now a more stable ship going forward?
In terms of, let me put it this way. I think almost as soon as the last year's elections were over, and as soon as the results were announced, the new government was formed in 2018. I think there was a guessing game going on as to how long the government will last, the JDS Congress government. And I think the outer limit was 12 months, so they have managed to beat it by 12 months. So I think that's a considerable achievement. But no, let's also keep in mind, in all seriousness, that even in the last two times when there has been a decisive mandate in favor of one party, we've had a lot of instability. I mean, even when Siddaramaiah was chief minister from 2013 onwards, every few months, some minister or the other would be dashing off to Delhi to complain to the High Command about the way they're being treated by Siddaramaiah. And if you recall, even prior to that, in 2008, when Mr. Yediyurappa was also elected chief minister, it was a fairly much larger number of seats that they had gotten than this time. Even then, the BJP ended up having 3 CMs. So I think the underlying causes for the stability are quite something else. And even if the central BJP is know that it's stable, the difficulty is going to be to manage all the personalities, manage all the conflicts, and manage all the clashes. And I don't know if they want to spend that much time, energy, and effort in trying to keep the MLAs of one state happy instead of actually trying to run the nation. So I don't know how much time they'll be able to devote to ensure that Karnataka will be stable. It's possible we'll get a period of stability, but the underlying factionalism within all major parties in Karnataka is going to come up at some point or the other. And I think, I'm call me a cynic, but I think in a few months we're probably going to see some variation of this within the BJP itself.
Okay, that's an interesting point, and that brings me to the larger picture that I want to focus on this evening. Tejas, let me come to you on that. What this means for the BJP, what this means for the Congress. For the BJP, it's another win in the bag. Another state, Karnataka is the gateway to the south, which has so far been immune to the BJP's charms compared to the rest of the country. But have they walked away with any kind of a moral victory here? And what does it mean for the Congress, which has lost another key state, our MP in Rajasthan, the next that could look more and more shaky for them?
I think one of the reasons for the Congress's debacle, uh, internal debacle also within in Karnataka is also the fact that at the center there is absolutely nobody. Even at this point of time, when a few central leaders did come down, but they were unable to make any headway at all. Even DK, Shivakumar is the man who failed. So I think the problem lies within the party in Karnataka, in the Karnataka unit, and also at the center, the lack of any cohesive, adhesive leadership which can guide and put some sort of sense into these MLAs. That is certainly not there. And yes, I mean, very often we have seen many of these MLAs in different political parties move to a party where there are better prospects. Now, I mean that one has to figure out whether this is always the case where we say this is the absolutely wrong thing to do because of your ideological differences, or there can be instances when this can be allowed. Now, the larger question about the BJP, absolutely, I think Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, very very close fights in that sense when the elections took place, and again it's a very similar situation in both these states. So Kamal Nath would be, and the chief and Mr. Gehlot would be worried, men, given the fact that very successfully the BJP has been able to, ensure that these, at least the MLAs in the rebel MLAs in Karnataka, there was an allegation, and some of it is was probably true, given the fact that Mr. Yediyurappa's own personal assistant was seen in the same flight with all these different MLAs, not once, not twice, but several times. So the BJP does have some sort of a hand in all of this, and yes, I think this would spread further to Madhya Pradesh, and in Rajasthan. In Madhya Pradesh is going to be certainly the Operation Kamal, which was used up, but against Kamal Nath. So Kamal
Yeah.
versus Kamal.
No, so the puns galore, if and when that happens, waiting to happen. I think, journalists are licking their lips at the kind of headlines they can write. But no, Chandan Gowda, very quickly, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan next.
No, I don't know, but as Tejas was saying, it's possible. I mean, they're on a roll, and it looks like the opposition isn't really putting up a determined fight.
They didn't in Karnataka. Congress didn't in Karnataka, that was clear. Yeah.
Like you said, the center couldn't care less. They were more interested in other things.
Yeah.
But the thing about stability, let's remember that the 15 MLAs, if they do switch over, they need to get re-elected within the next 6 months. And they've acquired such a negative image in the public for being, so open to being, bought like this. It is possible that all of them will lose, which will mean the coalition will have the numbers again to stake a claim for the government. So it's open. I don't think the stability question can be asked until that is settled.
Okay, we'll have to wrap this up. But a very, very interesting day story that we've been watching for a couple of weeks now has reached its logical conclusion. As I take a break, I just want to play out pictures of B.S. Yediyurappa, the man of the hour in a sense. So we'll have to wait and see if he does become the next chief minister. But this is the man who stood up almost a year ago, a little more, year and a half ago, 19th of May. He was chief minister for just about 2 days. And he had to resign because he didn't have the numbers. Today, he's had his revenge. We'll take a very short break. We're coming back and asking what's happened to Donald Trump. One more blooper. What does it mean? Was it a mistake? Was it on purpose? How do we deal with it? We're coming back with that story. Don't go away.